Hey guys, about to wrap this little project up here. I've got to cut 2 more pieces. It's a storm coming in here, and so I've about got to wrap it up here pretty quick. I'm sawing off the tailgate, but see this plywood here, this top, you got to have individual tops for each section. And so you just come over halfway, measure. This happened to be 4.5 on the outsides, and then I'll have to cut another one which half the distance here. And then what I'm going to do is create a telescopic lid. I'll probably take 3/4 plywood, come down. I'll leave a little slop here on both sides, make a telescopic lid, and I'll have just come down probably 2 inches, probably 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches all the way around on it. Somebody asked me what is a queen castle. All a queen castle is nothing more than a nuke box for your breeding, for breeding queens. You put a queen in here, put a cell in here, just like you would with a 5-framer or a 2-framer or a 3-framer. But in this scenario here, you're utilizing one box, putting in 4 sections, so you've got just consolidates it is all it does. So you're creating 4 2-frame nooks is what you're creating with a castle. This is a 10-frame box. These, if you put, I put all screen bottom on mine. Okay, all my hives have screen bottom. It's hot as Hades in Florida, so I want ventilation. So that's what I got here, and what I did is take a standard 10-frame box, Dadant, Man Lake, don't matter, same dimensions. I put a 3/4 shim on the bottom. Those frames you see now are off the bottom of this hive. That gives the bees a little more room in there. And the reason you want to do that is, for me here in February, I'm going in my hives. You guys up north, you're probably not getting in hives till April. Well, I got to get into my hives February and start playing peekaboo in these hives and looking for swarm cells. You can crack your bottoms on your existing hives in the field, crack them here and tilt them up and look for those peanuts on the bottom. You see peanuts in there, go in and grab them things out of there. Put them, if they're making peanuts, they're ready to start breeding. Okay, those swarm cells make excellent queens. Snatch them out of there, and you can put them right in a scenario like this. You could put them right in here and let them do their thing. Maybe give them 1 plane or give them 2 frames. Knock that existing hive down a little bit, because you're just going to swarm. You're going to watch $100 worth of bees fly off in a tree somewhere. I didn't lose a bee. Did not have a swarm 1 yet. Knock on wood. Could still happen, but I'm keeping an eye on these hives. I'm keeping them knocked down. I'm dragging resources out of them hives, making more nooks all summer long. I did not lose a single hive to swarming this year, because I was in there harvesting constantly. So this is just a kind of a cool way to do things. Like I told you before, I have never used these before. I've known about them forever, for eons. I got a friend up the road. He's a commercial guy. He uses these a lot. He's a queen breeder. He's a pollinator and honey maker. He does it a lot. He does a lot of it, okay? But he does make and sell a lot of queens. And I think he's working with a pollinator that goes out to California and up north. I think he is actually making queens for the guy, all right? So what have I got here? I've got an entrance. You got 4 sides and you got 4 units. So you put a hole, an entry for each cavity. So this one here, this cavity here is the entrance here, and all I did is take a little bit of first strip, put glue on it, and shot it in with my brad nailer. I put this box together. You can see I shot down through with brad nailers, and I did it. You got an entrance here. You got an entrance here, And then on this lane here, you got an entrance over there. And I came up off the floor 3 inches and bored a 1/2 inch hole for each entry. I also, once I put this strip on, 3/4 strip, then I put my 8th screen on, stapled it all the way around, and then I came on top of that with a 1x2 all the way around. And then you've got to come down through here, because this is saggy and baggy. You've got to shoot these. You'd have bees crossing over, queens crossing over, all kind of crazy. You have got to staple this. Now you've got 3 secured four compartments that nobody can get to each other in there. This will go on here. As you're working the colony, don't be popping all these off of here. You work one section at a time. This next lid will come in, it'll be half the distance here and half the distance here. I got to measure them up and cut them yet. And you might want to, you could probably too, if you won't mix them up. You're not going to mix these up anyway, because they go on half the thing, so you don't even need to mark them. These partitions, by the way, if you do it just like I did it on this 10 frame, these centers, these plywood, 3/4 plywood, are 10.5 by 18 3/8. 10.5 high and 18 3/8 long from here to here. But now you're going to see what you've got here, and all I did for that, I had a paint stick. I had a paint stick, extra paint stick. I stuck it in here. I had to fill that little gap. So I stuck it up here and I marked it. I cut it off, and then I cut a piece, cut it 3/4. Then I had to took my knife and a hammer and made a little slice of the same material, glued it up, glued it up with glue good, took my brad nailer and shot one spike right through there and held it. Then to fine tune it, it was up a little bit. I took a number 50 Nicholson rasp and just hit it a couple times. Boom, it's there. Now you've got a nice deal here, flat across. All those, you can see, there's no gap. You're not going to have any gap, bees crossing over. None, 0. Okay, that's that. I'm going to take some taller wood preservative. I got my vat out there. I'm going to paint up these and all of this on the exterior. I'm not doing nothing on the interior with that preservative. The bees will seal that up, but I want to get this all sealed up. That's what we'll do. Now be careful on the measurements here. I got off a little bit. The tolerances are close. It runs about a little less than 3 1/4 on these on the inside. One I got off just a little bit, and it's this one right here. I didn't get it centered quite right, and it tightened up. I've got plenty of room to get my frames in and out. Let's put it that way. But you want about 3, a little less than 3 1/4 on each one of these. Test it, but it went together beautifully with this thing. I mean, fast. I didn't glue these in. I just shot them down through. The bees will have those glued in no time. They'll seal them right up. But your nice tight fit in there. The bees can breathe in here. You don't have a suffocation issue. A lot of these guys will drill a hole and put hardware cloth 8th screen on them. Here I won't need to. Now for feeding, I'm gonna have boards on here, right? Each little lid, right? But I still need to cover it up. Now what's happened? Then I'm going to put a telescopic cover on this. Now what's happened? I can't feed them. There's no room really. I mean, you could put one of those feeders in, but now you're down to 1 frame. I want 2 frames of brood and bees in here. So here's my plan, the same as I did on my propolis traps. Bada bing. On this side right here, I'm going to have 1 feeder bottle here, 1 feeder here, and 1 here. On this lane here, it's going to be on the other side. I'm going to drill it in right there. It's going to be a short nipple of 1-inch PVC pipe. And then they take duct tape. I'll drill an 1.5 inch hole. And then I just put a nipple in here to where that pipe is flush with the inside wall. Don't get crazy. When you do this, have it to where it's just on the inside wall. You don't want it jamming up against that frame in there, because the bees will have a hard time getting in to get their feed. So just have it even with the inside wall. And then I'm going to take a loop, just a loop of tie wire, and come here, just a loose wire, so you can pull and adjust it. Put a drywall screw here, adjust that piece. Single strand and 14 gauge tie wire is all you need. Strung across there, just cradle these bottles. Get a Coke bottle, 16 ounce. Heat up a thin needle, something like this, with your torch. I use a Lockett and Vise. Get your soda bottle and melt about 5 little holes in there, in that lid. That'll be your feeder, and problem solved. You've got feeder on the outside. Spray paint those bottles white with a strip of Gorilla Tape down. After the bottle's dry, pull that strip off, and you can see the liquid. When you setting these things up, you just come by and you can feel them. But that line in there is nice for filling. I've got a bucket out there with a 1/4 inch pipe on it and a ball valve. I can turn that ball valve, and watch that liquid come up in that bottle and shut it off before it runs all over my hand, shop, and the floor and everything else. So put that on there. Keep the sight glass window for that bottle aimed at your box. Keep the sunlight out of it. Spray paint them white. I use DAPS. I'm going to paint this whole box after I preserve this and let it set for 24. And this too, this bare wood, this is all getting painted white. But all these little landings, I just shot these. I put glue on and shot them in for a little landing for the queen to come in, and the bees. And I'm going to paint these little rectangles all different colors. This one will maybe be black. This one will be brown, that one will be blue, this one will be bright orange. So that's that, guys. Queen box, Queen Castle, done deal. I've got one more of these boxes. I'll rig up 2. Matthew, I don't know how many of these he's running with that commercial operation. I imagine he's got a pile of these things. He takes all his boxes and he drops them in a resin paraffin combination, and he boils the boxes in that to preserve them. They come out really nice. But to do that and set up with that, with the tank and all that, you've got to buy a huge amount of product. For me, it's not worth it for my small operation. I will just use Tall Earth wood preservative. You mix it with water. You can get it on Amazon. Order it, and then once I dip it, then I'll paint this all white, and I'll come back and color code each landing different, so those queens come back in, they're not confused, they'll know their color and they'll go for it. Queen Castle, get her done. Now I want you guys to build at least 100 of these. Okay, build 100 of these. All right. That's too many, isn't it? Okay. I'm just trying to get you motivated. That's all I'm trying to do, guys. Just get you motivated. All right, guys. That's it for now. Queen Castle. Checking out. See ya. Bye-bye.